5 from Universiti Teknologi Petronas. With their policy, National River Restoration Policy. Group 5, the floor is yours.
Good morning, judges and audiences. We are from UTP and my name is Bekira. Before we dive deeper, let's recall back on the tragedy of Kim River pollution on 7 March 2019, a tragedy that had over 6,000 victims. 111 schools were shut down and 10 million ringgit was allocated to clean up the river. Yet, the offenders can get easily with fines not more than 500,000 ringgit and being jailed for 5 years only. And it's not only happening in Johor. Sri Muda floods 2021, river pollution in Labuan last week. Sometimes, when disasters like this happen, we tend to label them as natural disaster. But Tan Sri Jatila once said, there's no such thing called natural disaster. It's just us who didn't see the problem until it became a disaster. And this is where the National River Restoration Policy 2022-2035 comes in handy. And to tell you more, here's Ang Iheng.
I'm Ang Iheng. I'll tell you what is the policy gaps that leads to the problem. We have the law that regulates the river. It's the Environmental Quality Act 2012. It was amended 10 years ago. However, so many things have changed in this decade. So, do you think it's still relevant? Next, the river abuse. It is well known that river was treated like a dump site for the people as well as the industry. Then, the lack of awareness. Some of us just don't know how can we do to help our river. The unsynchronized initiative between the states is also one of the policy gaps. In Malaysia, we have so many rivers and flow through so many states. However, different policy means different states will carry out different initiatives. Last, insufficient penalty towards the offender. It can be clearly said by my friend backstage just now. So, to close this gap, we need the National River Restoration Policy. To tell you more how our policy can help Malaysia, I'll pass to Hakim.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hakim and we aim to give you the following impacts. Firstly, no pollutant accumulation. We hope to see no more accumulated trash thrown by the people, no more trash floating around anymore. We also aim for zero liquid discharge. No more factories will discharge wastewater to the rivers. The word industrial effluent will be history. Then, only when the rivers are clean, people will love towards river. It is impossible to love the river when it looks like teh tarik. Who can love that? But our restoration policy can change people's heart and ensure environmental security. Harinesh will explain on how we plan to do that.
I'm Hari. So, how do we implement this policy? We highly believe that this policy is a stepping stone for Malaysia to ensure improvement, availability and sustainability of wastewater management and sanitation for all in line with SDG 6. We have 3 stages, first phase, second phase and third phase. Kicking off with our first phase, we will inform City Council to prepare a proper schedule for industries to emit their effluent. We will also like to collaborate with DOE to create our app, to publish real-time data to the public, initiative done by states and offenders information so that we know what are the efforts being done, who is right and who is wrong. And we would like, again, City Council to establish river patrolling unit to ensure that our policy runs smoothly. So for our second phase, we would like DOE with the supervision of CASA and KPKT to build river-based recreation area. Can you imagine that our river look like this? Chongichang River Korea, where people can have picnic, recreation activities and even play in the river, while we can't at the moment. And NGOs, we encourage NGOs to do more outreach programs, and MOE emphasize on awareness education starting from primary level itself. And for our final phase, which is third phase, we would like KETA leading the zero liquid discharge, which is an innovation for wastewater treatment and factories practice wastewater zero norm in line with WBCSD. For the hope, here is back.
We hope nothing more than clean rivers. All the policy gap that we mentioned before has been addressed by the solution that we provided earlier. With this policy that is aligned with SDG 6, with clean water and sanitation, we can ensure environmental security. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, we can bring back the original function of river, which act as source of water, ecosystem to living things, and shelter to marine life. You and I can have picnics on beautiful riverbanks with our families and friends without any worries. But, ladies and gentlemen, the future that we dream of now depends on the consideration and implementation of National River Restoration Policy 2022-2035. And with that,
Thank you.
and please
Consider our policy.
Hello, gentlemen. Great Bishop. Nicely tailored suit. Okay. First and foremost, I have few comments and about two questions. Just take it positively because I need to correct whatever is not delivered correctly here. Whenever you're quoting EQA, you should quote the original date. It is 1974. 2012 is the latest amendments made on the Act. So it should be EQA 1974 or Act 127. That's one thing. And the other, we do not have KETA agency anymore, KETA ministry anymore. And my comments will be based on your write-up and your presentations because I read your write-up as well. First and foremost, we do not categorize river as dead river. Okay, under EQR, we categorize them as slightly polluted or clean, and comparing, because in your write-up, you're comparing IER standard limits and national water quality standard. This is actually not like comparing an apple to an apple. IER regulation is based on what are the concentrations limit given for industries to discharge into the river body. But national water quality standard is based on how we categorize river, whether type 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4, 5. And currently in Malaysia, just for information, we only have one type 5, which is highly polluted river in PD, Sungai Ramban. Okay, currently. And we do not ever classify river as dead river. Okay. And sorry, I have so many questions. And then in your write-up, you're mentioning about regarding your first phase planning, which is establishing real-time information on river quality and also to involve public in making reports. We are currently have that. DOE has that. We have E-Aduan. We also have RAS, Rakan Alam Sekitar, which involve public participation. And I want to take this opportunity also to announce that currently we are just received Jemaah Penenteri punya kelulusan on publishing real-time information on water quality, which will be named as River Quality Index, River Water Quality Index Management System, and Marine Water Quality Index Management System, which aiming to publish to the public like air pollution index. Okay, that's my comments. And my question is, number one, in terms of drafting the policy, okay, how do you plan to tackle discharge from non-point sources? Because actually statistically, only 20 to 30% of river pollution falls under EPA. The rest are not. We have non-point sources. We have also discharge from laundromat, car wash, and such, and from pasar and everything. And the second question: how do you suggest system to monitor industry's compliance on your suggestion emission of effluent schedule? Okay, that's all.
Okay. Okay. For the first questions. Oh, sure. Okay. So for the first questions, how do we tackle other source of pollutants? Alright. So Okay, so this is the thing that you mentioned just now. Okay, thank you for that. And okay, so other sorts of, I think, okay, I first answer, since our slide come first, so we first answer. I think I will pass to back to tell you about how our, okay. Yeah, so I will be the one talking about MA effluent schedule. So we will first determine the types of effluent for each factories. So each factories have different chemical types. So the effluent is different, so we will need to categorize them and then determine the time needed for the effluent to release without accumulation. We don't want it to be accumulating, the rivers. So like we proper schedule, so that let's say Monday a company A, then second day is for company B, like that, something like that. And then arrange a schedule for factories and divide them into groups. Alright, and then they constantly visit factories to make sure they follow the schedules. That's our first phase, to make sure the schedule is properly listed down. Okay, so add on to that, actually you can see we have category A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So actually for each category, we are targeting different component of the pollutant. As you can see, the heavy metal, the chemical substances, the organic substances, sewage, solid substances, oil grease, and ammonical nitrogen. So I believe, we actually looking on the pollutant itself and not the business, not the industry itself. So I believe this we can cover more types of pollutants. Yeah. So I think I believe I answered the question, sir. And also, okay. So the main aim is we actually did like the pollutant of river is not only from industry. Industry is contributing 38%, 54% from wastewater, like the 109 points. However, the thing that we can control now is industry, because for just wastewater we are from household, we are using soap, everything is polluted. So for that we need the second phase for awareness. We want to build awareness. That's why we need the river. So we already list down all the river that we will be doing the regression areas. So with this, we believe that, okay, let's say let's say Perak, we have a river that is really beautiful, then it is an awareness. It will build awareness to the public to take care of the river themselves. So they will maybe focus on more biodiversized products and, okay, first, this one. Yeah, alright. So just now, you mentioned about the website. We really know that they are e-aduan. However, we would like to implement this on an application level, where we actually have already built our GUI on it. And why we need this My Alarm, because we based on My Sejahtera successful rate. So we would like to suggest that for JS from the Play Store itself, we know that they are an app for JS DOE. However, that one is the AR/VR app. So we would like to suggest, why don't we make it like this kind of things, where we involve people to make public, and it's like a one-stop center for them. An application for one-stop center. That's the suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you, Group 5 from Petronas. Let's give them another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now, can I invite Group 5 from UTP to stay on stage for a quick photo session? Thank you. Our last presenters for today. Thank you, Group 5 from UTP.